Hey guys, today I'm going to tell you the story about a serpent dragon. And this serpent dragon's name was the Lambton Worm, okay? And here's a picture if you can see that. I put that picture in Seesaw, okay? So this worm was, the reason this worm became a problem is because there's this young man named John Lambton who decided not to go to church one day. And he decided, I'm not going to go to church. I'm going to go fish in the river over there. So as he's going over to the river, this old man sees him and he says, you need to be in church. You shouldn't be out fishing. And John says, well, I'm going to do whatever I want. So he goes down to the river and he's fishing and he doesn't catch anything until finally when church is out, people are out from church, that's when he catches something. But what he catches is this weird looking serpent thing. It's really small though, so it doesn't look all that bad. So he goes and shows the old man. He goes, see, look, I caught something. You told me I couldn't catch anything. And the old man says, that thing's evil. You better get rid of that thing. And don't put it back in the river. So John says, well, whatever. So on his way home, he sees a well and he just tosses it in the well. And he goes on his way and he completely forgets about this. He doesn't even remember he ever did it. And when he becomes an older person, he goes and fights in a war, okay? And he's in this war for 7 years. And while he's in the war, this critter that he threw into the well is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets giant, okay? It's so big that when it comes out, it can wrap itself around this hill 7 times. And the hill that they have nowadays, which they think is probably the one, is called Worm Hill, interestingly enough. So, and they say that if you look really carefully at the hill, you can still see the indentations where the worm wrapped itself around the hill, okay? So this big, mean worm is wrapped around that hill, and he's causing all kinds of problems. He's terrorizing the neighborhood, he's eating cows, he's eating goats, he's scaring people, and they can't get rid of him, okay? So they try to figure out different ways to get rid of him. So different knights go in and they chop at him, and there's one power this guy has. Whenever you chop a piece off of him, it just goes back onto him again. So you can't really kill him because whatever you take off of him just finds its way back to him and fixes him so he doesn't get hurt, okay? So this guy's impossible to kill as far as anybody's concerned. And finally, John Lambton comes home, and that's when he discovers that this big problem that he caused is hurting his neighborhood and hurting his father and hurting the lands and everything, okay? So he gets back. He decides he needs to be the one to get rid of it because he's the one that caused the problems to begin with. So he goes and he sees this lady in another village. She's a witch, and she tells him what he needs to do. She says, get your armor, go to the blacksmith and get him to put spearheads all over your armor, okay? And the reason I want you to do that is because I want you to get in there, and when the worm wraps itself around you, chunks will start falling off. But you need to go to where he is right now, and right now he's relaxing on a rock near the river, okay? So John gets the armor on, he gets it all pointy, he gets the armor on it, he goes down to the river, and there's the worm relaxing on a rock. So he goes over, he attacks the worm, and he gets up against it, and it wraps itself around him. Okay, this is one of the ways it would kill people. It would wrap itself around people and suffocate them. So that's what he does. He goes down there, the worm wraps itself around him, but because he's all spiky, pieces start getting cut off of the worm, off of the Lambton worm. But because it's near a river, those chunks keep falling into the river and they get washed downstream, and they can't reattach themselves. So eventually, the Lambton worm is completely chopped up and he's been killed, okay? So that's how John Lambton is able to defeat the Lambton worm, finally. It was his problem, he started it, and he finally fixed it. So that's the end of the story. This Thursday, we'll do a craft about the Lambton worm, and I hope you like the story, and I'll see you then. Bye.